what we did yesterday. Remember, we talked about if we are multiplying like bases, we're going to add our exponents. If we're dividing like bases, we're going to subtract them. So what I want you to do is just check how you did. I'm going to write these answers in, and then if we have any questions, we'll discuss that. So we set this one up together. We said coefficients, you just do normal math. So 3 times 5 is 15. And we added our y exponents and our z exponents. So you should have gotten 15, y to the third, z to the third. How did we do there? All right, then this one was dividing. And again, our coefficients, we're just going to divide. So I'm going to write 21 over 7. And what am I going to do with these when I'm dividing? What do? I subtract. Now, these are fractions, but we talked about, don't freak out, because these actually have a common denominator, so it's very nice. You should have gotten 3f, or you can write f to the first. This is 4 over 4, which is also 1. So you can write 3fg, or 3f to the first, g to the first. How did you do that? All right. Then this was a very complicated way of just saying you needed to subtract these. You should have gotten 3 squared. Are we good so far? And then you got to the bottom. I'm hoping you didn't freak out too much. You used your calculator here. What did you realize about these two? Which one had the greater value? They are the same. So if you use your calculator, this becomes 2 to the 8th, right? Oh, I have a, hold on, let's look. 2 to the 8th is 256, focus. And then this is 4 to the 4th, which is also 256. All right, so they are the same value. This one, density. We talked about density. We said density equals mass over volume. So you said x to the 15 over x to the 9, and you needed to subtract these. And we got density equals x to the 6. Very nice. Notice these all had 3x as their base. So we needed to add these on the top, and then what? What is it going to do if it's in a denominator? It's going to subtract, okay? So we can write 3x. We got 1/3 plus 7/3, and you can do it in 2 steps if you wanted. What's 1/3 plus 7/3? So now I have 3x to the 8/3 over 3x to the 2/3, and I'm dividing, so that means I have to subtract. What's 8/3 minus 2/3? 6/3 is what? Just 2. Anyone get that? Very nice. You got what? I skipped. Oh, I did skip 20. Let me go back. So this one gave you the density. I'm going to have to write this one over here. I ran out of space. So again, density equals mass over volume. And it tells us this, the density this time, y to the 10th, and the volume is going to be our denominator. So think about this like when we did equations a long time ago. 10 equals m over 4. I'm dividing by 4, so what am I going to do instead? I'm going to times it. So same thing, even though it's y to the 4th, we're still going to times it. Still same operation. I'm multiplying, so I need to add. You should have gotten y to the 4th on 20. Did you try 22? No. All right, well, let's look at it. She asked Toby to multiply the expression 8 to the 7 times 8 to the 3rd times 8 squared. He doesn't know how to do this, because he believes the product of powers property works only on 2 exponential terms. This problem has 3. How can he do this? If I gave you this and I said simplify it, what would you do? We're all multiplying the same base. What's the rule when you multiply the same base? You have to what? Add. So it's okay that there's 3 of them. We're just going to add 3 numbers. So you should get 8 to the 12. All right? We do okay there. Now, this is the part. So I asked you to do your video notes. It was a nice recap of what we did in the book. I asked you to practice these 6. So you needed to add these. We talked about adding a 1 here. So 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 1. You should have gotten a to the 8th on this problem. How do we do? Here, again, coefficients, normal. 4 times 3 is 12. We're going to add these. 4 plus 9 is 13, and 3 is 16. How do we do there? Then we add again coefficients. 8 times 5 is 40. Did you remember to add a 1 here? I hope. So I have a to the 6th plus a to the 5th. 6 plus 5 is 11. 1 plus 7 is 8 on the B. And 3 plus 1 is 4 on the C. So you should have 40, A to the 11, B to the 8, C to the 4th. How did we do there? Nice. All right, and then the division. What's the difference between the division and the multiplication? Right? Multiplication adds and division is going to subtract. So 13 minus 5, you should have had x to the 8th. This is not the same base. You can put this in the calculator. It will simplify it to 1/5. Or you can put 0.2. I will take either. We do have to say 5 minus 3. So I will take 1/5 n to the 2nd, or I will take 0.2 n to the 2nd. 12 over 32, this simplifies by 4. You get 3 over 8, and again, we're subtracting. 9 minus 4 is 5. 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay? I will also take this as a decimal point. 375, C to the 5th, D to the 3rd. All right, you're going to send me a grade in your calculator.